You are looking at the ultimate endurance machine, a biological engine built to run until its prey dies of exhaustion. You are the shadow in the tree line and the villain in every fairy tale. But before you became a god of winter, you were just a potato. This is the life cycle of the grey wolf. Darkness and silence. The world begins in a hole in the ground that smells of wet dirt and old iron and musk. Blind and deaf and only 1 pound. That is the starting stat line, because there is no majesty here. Just a wet ball of black fuzz shivering in the dark. Panic sets in as Humber hits. Thrashing blindly in the dark. Claws hook into a brother's ear and you climb over a sister's head, shoving her face into the dirt to get closer to the heat. There is no time for manners because the warmth is the only thing that matters, until the spot is found and the latch and the milk. The first war is won. Fast forward to 6 weeks old and you are tumbling out of the den, where the air is cold but the sun warms your fur. Welcome to the nursery. There's your brother chewing on a stick, and that stick looks like a prize, so you tackle him and bite his ear. He yelps and rolls over to expose a soft belly and freezes. Standing over him, you claim the stick, and the first rule of the pack is learned, which is that if it can be taken, it belongs to the victor. At feeding time, the adults return, and their fur smells of pine needles and raw meat. You sprint to father and jump and lick the side of his mouth with a whine for attention. He lowers his head and throat muscles convulse until a pile of warm chewed meat lands on the grass. To a human it's disgusting, but to you it's gold. You dive in, and when sister tries to push in, you snap your teeth inches from her nose until she backs off. Then you eat until your stomach looks like a tight balloon. By 4 months old your growth is rapid and baby teeth fall out to be replaced by jagged white daggers. Confidence spikes, so when there's an adult wolf resting by a tree you charge him and growl to act tough. But he doesn't growl back, he just stands up and looms and opens his mouth to close his jaws around your entire head. He doesn't bite down, he just holds it there. Freeze. The pressure of his teeth rests against your skull, and he holds until your squirming stops. Then he lets go. You drop to the dirt and crawl away with your tail between your legs, because the lesson is learned that rank is not given, it is earned. 2 years later the den is gone and the hunt is life now, but the pack is too big and there are too many mouths to feed. Father looks over with no tail wag, and his hackles rise in a ridge of stiff hair along his spine, while a low wet growl vibrates in his chest. You step forward to apologize and he snaps and lunges, chasing you to the edge of the territory where he stops at the river and barks once. You look back and he isn't following, so you cross the water and don't stop. Lone wolf is what humans put on t-shirts, but in reality it means walking corpse, because without the pack there is no safety net. If no food is found, weakness sets in, and if weakness sets in, the cold wins. Silence in the forest is heavy. Movement ahead reveals a moose calf stuck in deep snow. Desperation takes over and rules are forgotten, so you rush in without checking the wind. The mother moose steps out from behind a spruce tree like a wall of brown muscle, so your paws slide on the ice trying to break. She turns and she kicks and crack. A hoof strikes square in your ribs and air leaves your lungs instantly. Your body flies backward and hits a tree trunk. Lying in the snow, breathing is impossible, and the taste of copper fills your mouth. The moose walks away and your legs buckle, and hours pass as the sun goes down and the cold comes back. But death didn't come, because you healed and scavenging worked. And then a howl, not a threat but an invitation. You found her by the creek, a female who was also alone. Noses sniffed and tails wagged. Then a rabbit was hunted together and meat was shared. 5 years old, and you are massive now. Your winter coat is thick grey armor, and a new pack is formed with 5 strong adults, and the alpha title is claimed. Deep winter means snow is 4 feet deep and the world is dead, but this is your season. An elk herd is ahead and they are heavy, sinking into the powder up to their chests. Look at your paws, huge and splayed wide, so there is no sinking, only floating. The chase begins. No sprinting, just trotting. The elk is panic running while lungs burn and muscles fill with acid, so it stumbles and gets up and stumbles again. You are right behind it, and not even punting. You go low and dive for the back leg. Your jaws lock onto the hamstring and bite down until the tendon snaps and the elk collapses. The pack swarms, and there is no noise now, just the sound of feeding. Spring thaw, you are patrolling the ridge and stop, scent in the air. Musk stranger. There they are, another pack with 6 of them on the land near your pups. This isn't a hunt, this is a riot. You howl, and it starts deep in your chest and rips through the valley as the pack forms a line. The intruders charge. You meet them in the middle of the clearing and pick the biggest one, the leader. Collision. Teeth hit skin, and he bites your shoulder, but pain is ignored. You grab his neck and shake your head violently until skin tears. Your jaws lock onto his throat, and he pulls, but your grip is iron, so his legs go soft, and he realizes the mistake. He yelps and stops fighting, going limp and rolling onto his back to tuck his tail with throat exposed. You stand over him. Kill him? No, he is beaten. You let go and he scrambles up and runs, and his pack follows. You stand there with chest heaving and blood dripping from an ear, then pee on a bush to make sure they know this is occupied. 8 years old. The fur around your muzzle is white and morning, brings stiff hips where a stretch makes the joints pop. You yawn, and your teeth are worn down, the sharp daggers gone and ground to flat yellow nubs from years of chewing on frozen bone. The pack is running with the scent of deer. You start to run, but your legs feel heavy and the snow feels deeper than it used to be. You push hard and try to keep up, but the pack is pulling away. Your son is in the lead now, and he looks back, but he doesn't slow down. Your mate doesn't stop either. She glances back once, then turns away and keeps running. The gap widens 10 yards, then 50 yards, until they disappear into the trees. You stop and pant as breath clouds the air, but you can't catch them. Night falls, and it is 20 below zero. You find a spruce tree and crawl underneath the low branches to dry ground. You curl up into a ball and tuck your nose under your tail to save heat. It's an old trick, the first trick you ever learned. You close your eyes. The wind howls outside, but the cold doesn't bite anymore. You are just tired. The snow piles up against your back and the lights go out. The job is done and the forest is wild because you kept it that way. Nature doesn't do retirement parties. It just collects the debt. The tank is a prison and the zoo is a museum. But this life, this is the price of being the king.